Now we want to start coloring it in. Now coloring it in is a little bit harder. This Wonderdraft does a good job of helping out and making it easy. But to make it look good and to make it look meshed and all fit together is a little difficult. So what I usually do is you can add your color, and I can put all the hexes that I use in the description. You can Google hexes, you can come up with your own hexes, you can even drag and drop different colors. So if I wanted like a grass color, I could do this and then maybe go a little bit darker. Like that could be a good grass color if you wanted. I have hexes that I've saved off that I like the colors of. You should type it in here, hit enter, hit OK, and it populates it over here. And you can rename it to what you want. So I'll name this Green Fields. What this does is allows you to draw in your land. One thing to note, if I zoom in a little bit, you can see it better. If I'm over here on the ground color brush and I'm just drawing it, it will color in the mountains and the trees. The way to stop that from happening is you come over here to this filter, unclick all. If I only wanted to color in the ground, I could hit ground. And there's two ways I can do this. I can increase the brush size and just come in here, color it all in like that by hand. And that works perfectly fine, nothing wrong with that. Or, if I got rid of that, I could hit the fill button. And it will fill everything that is selected here, which was just the ground. Now if I had hit trees, it would color in the trees too. But we're not going to do that. We're just going to do the ground, because this is like an open grass field color. And I have a different color in mind for the trees. So next we'll do mountains. Like I said before, you can find a brownish color, pick it, it'll save it off, color it in how you see fit. I have my own saved off that I will put in and use those. This is just what I've spent time trying to find. I've mixed different hexes, I've tried a whole bunch of different options. These are just what I find aesthetically appeal to me the best. So this is what I go for. And then we will rename this mountains. And again, if I forgot to change this, I would go, oh no, I drew in the ground. Unclick this, you can click mountains, and again, you can just color in the mountains, or I can hit fill, and it will fill in every single mountain on the map. Very useful, quick and easy. Now we have the ground color and the mountain color. If I wanted to add the tree colors next, make sure we uncheck that, uncheck trees, and this would be fine, and this looks good. What I usually do is, usually mountains are up on higher ground, so the grass in the area of the map around the mountain should be a little bit darker. I usually try to keep it a green. Again, I have a hex saved off that I will type in here. Hit OK. And we'll name this like a forest color, I guess. And then fill in all the trees. So that fills in all the trees. And now, the tricky part, what we can do, let's start with the small island. It's a little bit easier to start on a smaller scale. Come back to our ground color brush. We will lower the brush size. It seems pretty good. And we will fill in, so make sure only ground is selected, and just kind of outline the mountains and the trees that you have to give it a higher elevated ground feel to it. Now the problem with this is it looks very flat it transitions very poorly from the lower to higher elevation. So the way to fix that, and this is what takes a lot of time, lower the brush size. You don't want to go too low, but enough that you can kind of catch the edges. So right now I'm on the dark color. I would want to switch to my lighter color, lower the opacity and the velocity, and just kind of go back and forth along the edges. Now it's at the first start, it's not going to look any different, but then we switch back to the dark color, lower it again, and then go back across, adding that dark back. And what this does is it will slowly over time, the more you do this, going back and forth, add a blurred look to the edge, so it's not as clear cut, this is light, this is dark, here's the change. So if I keep going, adding more light to the edge, and you don't have to do it as soft or as slowly as I am, you can do it as you see fit. Add it back. Keep going down, going back to the lighter color. Let's go one more time. And maybe one last one to finish off. Okay, so what that does is that gives it a meshed look. It looks like it leads into the higher elevation instead of just clear cut. If I went like this, it looks a little bit better. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing it the other way. You can do it that way. I just find this to look more appealing. And we want to do that for every single mountain range. Now, you don't have to do it for every single mountain range, and there are other things you could do. I have seen some use like a grayish brownish color for mountains to indicate like a rocky terrain, which I haven't messed with too much, but I usually just stick with like the green grass kind of maps. We'll come over here. We'll go back up to 1 and 1. Opacity, velocity, increase our brush size. Maybe not that high. Make sure we have our darker color. And then fill this in like so. You don't have to fill in every tree. I'm going to leave some of those by themselves. We'll do that. And then switch back to the lighter color. Go down a little bit in opacity and velocity. Lower the brush size to, let's go 18. And then go along the edges like so. Alright, and that's it pretty much. Now that we've blended all the land together, you can go in and put in cities where you want, add extra mountains, extra trees, remove stuff. I think I'm actually going to remove this river right here. So let's go up to the water, tab, freshwater eraser, and then just drag that. That's that. We can add more trees, we can add more mountains. I might add a little bit more mountains over here. Down on the end, so let's bring this down to 40. Zoom in a little bit. Maybe add some right here. And placing them will color it in. You can fix that just by coming back up to the land, the color brush, hitting mountains, and then just filling in your mountains. Oh, that is something to note. It will fill in with whatever these parameters are. So if your opacity and velocity aren't that high, it will fill it in kind of like the brush tool that we were using to separate the two sections. But to fix that, just bring that back up, re-hit fill, and let's quickly add this color back in. All right, thanks everybody for watching. This was the 4th part of the map making series. I will have the 5th and final part out tomorrow. Let me know down in the comments if I missed anything or if you have any questions. And I will see you in the next one.